going to be talking about your database plan for 2023 and integrating kvCore into that plan. Maybe you're the first time you've ever come to one of my trainings. Maybe you're one of my coaching clients. We've got a variety of people. You're with different brokerages. You're at different seasons of your business. It's all good. So I'm Sylvia Dana, founder of the Sylvia System. We're going to be talking about your database plan for 2023 and integrating kvCore into that plan. Here's what's happening in our market is the market's shifted here and there. It's weird. It's just kind of weird, right? It's a little bit bipolar. Long story short, the percentage that of the business that you used to get from your database probably was about 10%, like referrals from your database, new transactions from your database. And that's dropping to now 8%, but it's probably going to continue to drop. Why? Because client loyalty has changed. There's access to so much everywhere. There's competition online. And so this is why. So what can you do about it? You can double down, just double down. You're going to add more people from your market to your database every day. And you're going to add more value to your database. Okay. So adding more people from your market to your database every day and adding more value to your database. There are 5 databases that you really have, your top 5. What are those databases? So your past clients and sphere of influence is your first database. An exchange database. I'll go over what this is, so don't worry. Social media database. CRM and leads database. And an agent-to-agent database. So these are your top 5 databases you're going to pay attention to. Now, today we're going to be focusing on past client and sphere, like plan of action in kvCore. So don't worry, the kvCore part's coming. All right. But, I teach you about leveraging kvCore to grow your real estate business, not just using kvCore, growing your real estate business. That's the goal, right? Your first database, past clients and sphere of influence. PCSOI, however you want to refer to it. So these are people that you helped buy or sell a house or a property. Your friends and family, people you used to work with, people you go to church with, people, in your community, your neighbors, friends of friends, people, okay? Prospects maybe that have been referred to you by other agents. They can go into your sphere. So now you're going to start working with them. These are people who know you, like you, and trust you. This is your past client and sphere of influence database, first database. Okay. Second database, exchange database. If any of you are Jeff Glover fans, which I am, Glover U is he's a Keller Williams agent, young guy, super cool. I used to hate him, but now I love him. Because he gives such good content. I'm using his 5 databases that he teaches. I'm one of their coaching clients as well. And it makes sense to me, and I'm applying it to kvCore for you right now. So the exchange database. What is the exchange database? Who are these people? These are people that maybe they're from a sign call, from one of your listings. Maybe you worked an open house and you collected contacts from that open house. There's somebody who gave you their contact information and you exchanged, your business card, and you talked about real estate, but they're not necessarily somebody who knows you, likes you, and trusts you yet. Okay. Maybe you've done prospecting calls and you talk to somebody and they're like, yeah, send me an email about that. And now they're in your exchange database. Okay. Maybe you're door knocking and there's yes, send me some information about that. And now that person, again, they're not in your sphere yet. They don't maybe know you, like you, trust you quite well. Yeah, maybe they will as you start providing value and they'll start referring people. Maybe they'll never buy or sell a house with you because they'll never move, but they might start referring you because you're giving them value. So then they will become part of your sphere. But right now they're still kind of just more acquaintances, like I met you once. Okay. So this is your exchange database. Social media database. Social media database. So we have to accept that our social media is also another database. That's why we have to be careful on social media, the types of things we post. You might not want to get too religious or too political because really these are people, your clients are watching you, people that and maybe you don't even realize they're thinking of you for real estate, but you might know, and they're in your database. For example, I used to sell cars, and I have a guy that I know, Dwayne, I sold cars with, but he was in the used car department. I was in the new car department. We never really interacted. Now, we were Facebook friends. When I got into real estate, we were still Facebook friends, and I never thought he thought anything about me or was watching what I was doing, but apparently he was, because one day he calls me and says, "Hey, I want to buy this house. You're my realtor," and I just didn't even realize the power of me sharing about what I was doing with my business and real estate and what I was doing personally. Somebody's watching you. So that, your social media friends are a part of your database. So Facebook friends, Instagram followers, TikTok followers, LinkedIn contacts. Then there's your CRM leads database. So this is when people register on your website. They've opted in to get a download. They wanted to see a property. They want to subscribe to a market report. They want to ask for their instant home value. These are new buyer and seller leads registered on your website. And then finally, your agent to agent database. These are agents who maybe the referral partners. Maybe they're right outside your market because you don't want to go that far, or they don't want to come as far as you are. So you're helping each other with referrals. Or maybe they're outside of your area of expertise. Like maybe you're not a commercial realtor and you have a commercial realtor you share business with, refer business to. So that's your agent to agent database. How do you build your database? Because remember, one thing we want to do is add more people. I mean, we're talking maybe 5 a day, 10 a day, maybe. Or at least like 25 a week. Can we do that? Okay, at least. So the first way you're going to build your database is there's this weird thing. It's called a phone, and there's something you can do. It's like you can actually dial, and like you call it, you put in a number, and then somebody answers and you can have a conversation. That's something you can do. Isn't that amazing? And I think it's really important now more than ever, because people aren't calling people anymore. And people are more likely to answer the phone right now, which is weird. If they don't answer, send a follow-up text. But phone prospecting. So you can be calling your sphere, asking them, who do they know who might be interested in buying or selling real estate? Do they have any real estate needs? Maybe they can give you referrals, or they'll have a need you don't know about. How else with phone prospecting? Circle prospecting. So let's say you have a listing, or maybe you don't. You just saw a listing somewhere in a neighborhood that you want to work in. And you can door knock or call using data sources like Realty Resource, RedX, which are, those two are the cheapest, but good data still. RedX is good. And Vulcan 7, which is a little more expensive. You can use those kind of sources to get phone information for the neighborhood around that listing, or door knock them, just door knock them. Okay. Introduce yourself, say, hey, did you know 123 Main Street just listed for X amount of money? For the right price, would you consider selling? And maybe get more exchange database contacts through these efforts. Okay. What's the other way you're going to build your database? Lead generation with social media content. This is probably right now my biggest way personally of getting more people in my database. Now, one thing you have to know about online leads is they're going to be longer hauls. They might not be ready to do anything in 6 to 9 to 12 months to 3 years. So you just got to nurture them. Okay. That's what online leads are like. Now, I will say my numbers for seller leads, 18% of my seller leads that I get will list and sell their house within 6 months. Doesn't mean it's going to be with me, but if I get the lead, I know that's what's going to happen. So I want to get that to that first 18% as soon as I can before they get with somebody else. Long story short, there's going to be some right now business, but not enough to sustain you typically with lead generation from online leads. Now it will sustain you because you're building a sales funnel and you're going to nurture them. And then they're going to become part of your database that you're nurturing over time. And then they're going to get to know you, like you, and trust you because of the content you send them, because of the value you provide. With lead generation with social media, you're going to be creating kvCore squeeze pages and landing pages, posting them out on the interwebs to bring leads to your website, getting new contacts to register on your website and become part of your database. You can also create content with blog posts, video posts, to links back to your website to generate these leads. How else can you build your database? Good old door knocking. It's tried and true. More people are answering the door now, okay, because they're ready to see people. We like people again. Like, it's a person. Okay, so door knocking, it can work. Farming a neighborhood. Networking, building your partner team, your lenders, your inspectors, builders, stagers, electricians, cleaners, insurance people, financial people, working with them, doing happy hours with them, networking to give them business and have them give you business. Going to local community events or being part of an event, Chamber of Commerce networking events, local festivals, just getting out there, talking to people, passing out your business card. And then client events, simple, like you can order a dumpster, have them, the biggest dumpster a company has for like $200 or $300, invite your database to come dump some stuff, your clients, your past clients, people in your sphere. And it's just like a community event that you could do in your neighborhood. You could do a coffee buyout where you and a lender partner up and you go to a local coffee shop, like a mom and pop coffee shop, and you for 2-hour time slot, buy everybody's coffee. And then, people will ask you, hey, why did you do that? And you tell them, hey, well, I'm a local real estate agent. We're just helping out. We're just having fun in the community. Anything I can do for you? Here's my card, and maybe have an ice cream truck. Like there's a shaved ice truck that comes around my neighborhood, and you can get like them. They're just usually family owned little places, little trucks that would love to do a community event, and you maybe partner up with a lender to help you sponsor that. Simple things. It doesn't have to be super expensive. You don't have to buy out like a baseball stadium, but maybe you want to. Let's just focus on right now your SOI, sphere of influence, and your past clients. Okay, so SOI, past client database. What I want to list out here for you is what we're going to be thinking about when it comes to working with our sphere in kvCore. We're going to first know where they are on the client journey. So that client journey is what status they are. Are they sphere? Are they a new lead? What are they? What lead type are they? Are they buyer, seller, renter, vendor, agent? What are they? Are they all those? Are they one of those? Are they two of those? What hashtags can you add to that contact? How are you going to categorize this type of contact? On their contact timeline, how are you going to update their information? And in their profile details, how are you going to do the same? So that's what I'm going to talk about first. Let's get into kvCore. Let's just look at my kvCore because it's pretty today. It looks real pretty. Why do I think it's pretty? This is somebody from my sphere database, my SOI database. There's somebody that's never bought or sold a house with me before, but I used to sell cars. And this is somebody I sold a car to that I worked with a few times. I mean, they actually sent me a Christmas card this last year, which was cool, but I haven't seen Linda. It's a couple. I haven't seen the wife look at my website in a long, long time. So what's she doing? So now I know she's looking at something. Now, this prompts me. I'm going to give her a call and say, hey, Linda, she checked out that property on Majestic Street in Kentwood. What are you thinking? Same with this David Wirt guy. Same exact scenario. Haven't seen him in a while either. This person's new, don't know them. That person's new, I don't know them. A lot of people are new here. And then some leads that just keep visiting. Okay, so anyway, it's fun. Oh, there's another sphere person. I love seeing my activity dashboard to see like who I haven't seen show up in a while, do stuff on my website. Okay, so that's fun. I'm going to find one of my pretend contacts to do this with. Okay, Anthony, for those in my sphere that I do not know, do I research and see? So Anthony, that's a good question. I mean, if they're already in here and I never categorized them to begin with, yeah, I have to think about how I got them. Because if you don't know them and they're in your sphere, I'll show you how to look to see how you got them. Like maybe you imported them from something. If you don't know them, they're completely strangers to you. You can just call them that's your like CRM lead database because you don't know. They're no longer even in your Exchange database because you forgot.
Sylvia, did you import your database or did you do it manually, do it yourself?
This is a great question. I'll get to this topic about importing, but
okay.
I did import my database because before I started using kvCore, I was using this other little CRM called Realty Juggler. And I liked it. It took me a long time to set up, just like every CRM is a pain in the ass to set up. And I just really didn't want to let it go. And I was used to it. And when I, started using kvCore, I was like, okay, kvCore, I got the website, I got the lead generation tools. I'll just generate new leads. But then, then I'll just keep them in this other CRM to nurture them because I just wasn't ready, to merge it all together. And finally, once I added all my contacts into kvCore and did all the things I'm about to tell you to do, life was changed and it was great. Okay, so you can bulk import, you can do it manually, but I'll get to that. Okay. We've got this person in our system, and they're part of one of these 5 databases. And in this case, let's pretend it's an SOI person, somebody I know that I've worked with, that I've, that's in my neighborhood. Maybe they're also a past client. So they're an SOI, maybe they're also a past client. So how you have some clients that you really like and you stay friends with, like you actually do stuff together and you're actually friends. I mean, they're truly an SOI now, and a past client may or may not use you again. It's kind of like that, depending on how good you are at following up. The first thing I want to talk about this client journey. This is the client journey here. This has to do with the status of this type of contact. So you can click to change the type. All right. Now, the only thing I want to say about this is you'll notice when I moved this to prospect, a campaign was added, my seller prospect campaign. Why? Because this person is marked as both a buyer and seller. And I have a campaign that is set to trigger for any time a seller lead is a prospect and as a seller, they're going to get this campaign. So that's why I'm pointing it out to you, because you might have that type of campaign. It's if you got our setup from Presto Coaching or Abracadabra or White Glove, then you have this default prospect homeowner campaign, also known as the seller prospect campaign, that is for these type of leads. Why does this campaign exist if you've got our setup? Because most of the seller leads we get come in as prospects instead of new leads. It's just how it is. So you just have to be careful. You don't want to call everybody a prospect, honestly, because a campaign might start. Okay. That's why we have, tags. So, okay. So if they're a new lead, that's somebody who's registered on your website. So if I make this person a new lead, guess what's going to happen? They're going to get my new lead default seller campaign. Okay. That doesn't make sense. They're already part of my sphere. A new lead is somebody who's registered on your website to get some. Yes.
A new lead that goes to your website, wouldn't they be a buyer?
Could be. They might be a seller. If
That's
they're
true.
a buyer, it's because they register on your website because they looked at a property and they register on your website for the first time. Now kvCore calls them a buyer. If they ask for their instant home valuation, kvCore is going to call them a seller. but mostly those leads will come in as prospects, even if there's a valid email and phone number, sometimes they'll come in as prospects. And very rarely will they come in as new leads. It's just how the seller lead valuation page works. Active lead, what is an active lead? An active lead is somebody who replies to you. Maybe you've sent a text message through the system and they replied. You sent an email through the system and they replied. You called and you logged the call as contacted. If any of those things happen, they automatically become an active lead, and all of the campaigns they are on for a new lead or a prospect lead will stop, be removed automatically. If they're a client, who's a client? Client is somebody that you would manually add as a client on this journey. And this is somebody you're showing houses to now. Hopefully you have a buyer agency, but if you're showing, hopefully you're doing that, or you have a listing agreement, or you're getting that ready. Somebody who's now become a client, you're working with them actively to buy or sell real estate. They're a client now. Once they're under contract. And once they're closed. Now, if you have our closed campaign, you got the Abracadabra setup or the Presto coaching setup, and you click on closed, guess what's going to happen? They're going to get the closed campaign automatically. If you don't have that closed campaign activated, it won't start. So just FYI. So that's the client journey. All right. So for our purposes right now, we're talking about Sphere, SOI, and past client. Check that box if we're manually adding them an individual contact, or if we're importing, and I'll get to that part in a minute. So there's Sphere. Now you can categorize this contact, because let's go back to the types of databases, past clients and Sphere of influence, Exchange database. They're going to be in your Sphere, but they're not an SOI or PC. They're not a true Sphere of influence person that knows you, likes you, and trusts you. And they're not a past client, but they're somebody you've met. They're in your Sphere. Social media database. They're Facebook friends. You might not even have met them, or maybe they're just a really friend of a friend of a friend. They're in your Sphere database. CRM leads and database leads. These are going to be new buyer and seller leads, or prospect buyer and seller leads. And then agent to agent database, again, part of your Sphere. Okay. So we tag these people. Okay. So how might we do that? It's easy. Let's pretend this person is in our SOI. Okay. And this is a person, yes, they're in our Sphere database, but they also know us, like us, trust us. So we can use a tag. We can create our own tag called SOI, or maybe you use COI, Center of Influence, instead of Sphere of Influence, whatever floats your boat. Okay. So I just added that tag. Now I've categorized this person. Maybe they are also a past client. So maybe they're in my SOI and then they become a client. So now I'm going to add past client. And some people do past client and some people do past clients. It's totally up to you. I just like past client. You're going to create these tags. You're going to decide what they are. Okay, not me. Now you can also tag for other things. What I like to do when I add hashtags is I like to put the area that either they live in. This person lives in Grand Rapids. So I like to put the area they live in. Why? Because I want to tag them with the city they live in. I serve multiple cities and I want to know what area they're in. Maybe I want to market to that group of people that live in that area for a certain reason. Okay. So that's some examples of how you might tag. Now, maybe you also want to tag somebody by how you know them if they're in your Sphere. So for example, I mentioned I used to sell cars. So a lot of my people are tagged car customers. This is how I know them. So they're a neighbor, you went to church with them, you used to work with them, or you did business with them in a different way. Maybe you want to categorize that. How is this going to work? Well, if I go into my CRM, my smart CRM here, and I want to search for these people, I can go filters, and then I can say, okay, I want anybody who's in my Sphere, and also I want to find anybody who has car customer as a tag, and I'm going to apply that, and now it's going to filter out all of those people that are car customers. So you can see I've got a pinned saved filter at the top, car customer. I could click on that and it would show me because I've got a saved filter. How do you do this, you guys? All you do is you create the filter, you save the filter, and then it allowed you say, do you want to pin it to the top? And you can name it and pin it to the top if you want to. So that's how I do that. But anyway, long story short, now I know I can market to these people. Maybe I want to market to, as an example, anybody who's a new lead or an active lead or a prospect that is a buyer that is tagged with the hashtag of Grand Rapids. And I want to sort those people, right? And there they are. And now maybe I want to find anybody who I added as our customer and the calendar. I don't want to say or, I want to say and, I want both, and then it'll find those people. So like if I look at Lorena and Pedro here, I've got them tagged as friends and family, because that's how I used to do it, but I'm now starting to do SOI. I'm just working on cleaning up my old database, but I got a past client. Also, they were a car customer. Also, I sent them my calendar, so it's all, I've got all those tags. I can find them easily. Is there a way to add hashtags to a bulk number of people at one time? Yes. As far as how to bulk add a hashtag to a group of people, let's say you have done an import and you imported them, but you forgot to include a hashtag for these people you imported, as an example. So I'm going to go here to the filter, and I'm going to go find an import hashtag from a long time ago. And so I'm just searching import. And so let's say it was this import here. Because when you do a bulk import, you guys, it will give you a number, and then it's like usually a date. So this is import 2020, May 2nd. That's what that means. I can apply the filters, and now it's going to find all of those contacts, whoever they are. I don't have any recollection of who this group is, but here they are. Okay, they were Red X leads. Okay, so I imported a bunch of Red X leads. How many did I import? 323. So you'll notice it says 323. And so again, what the question is, how do I mass add a hashtag to a group of people? And so let's say I want to tag these people something different or more. And there's 323 people. Notice I can, if you look at the top right-hand side, at the top next to like columns and under where it says add contact, that green button, it says how many rows can show at a time. So I have it on the max of 250 showing at a time. What that means is when I select this little box here to select all, it's going to select everybody on this page. Okay, so I can do a mass action for everybody who's selected on this page. And there's 250 of them, but there's 323. So I'm going to have to do another page in a minute. But let's say I go ahead and mass add a tag here. I go more actions, add a hashtag. Now I can add another hashtag. I can create one or search for one to add here to all those people. And then after I was done with that page, because there's more than 250, I'd actually have to then go to the next page and then do the same thing. I've mass added a hashtag. How do you get the hashtags to show on your smart CRM? Over here in the filters, you see there's select contact status. There's also assigned users. There's also contact details, and there's also behavior, and there's also property interest. So you just got to open it to see what it is. So I think hashtags are under contact details. And then this is where you can search for hashtags. So you can also search for people with, two different hashtags or multiple hashtags, or just one hashtag. And you can also search for who isn't. So let's say I want to say, well, who are all the people that I did not send my last holiday calendar to? Because I have some extras and I want to send them. I can find those people, all the people that do not have that hashtag. And now it's going to find me that group of people who did not get the calendar. Okay, so that's how you do that. Is there a way to see what hashtags you've entered? Yes. I think it's under marketing. And you'll see the hot mess of hashtags you've ever made, which I'm about to witness here. And you can then delete the ones you're not using anymore. You can, for example, I had made a mistake by accident of actually putting the hashtag symbol on a hashtag once, and you don't do that. When you're creating hashtags in kvCore, you don't use the actual hashtag symbol. okay, to create the hashtag. So I can delete that one, let's say. Okay. And you can delete, you can merge. So you can merge hashtags and you can delete them and manage them and see that list there. Okay. So we talked about the client journey. We talked about the status of sphere. And then we didn't really talk about lead type. Let's talk about that for a minute because it's something that screws people up for some reason. So lead type. I hear a lot of agents say, well, it only gives me the option for buyer, seller, renter, vendor, agent. My sphere person is none of those. Okay, so you're telling me that your sphere may never buy with you, may never sell with you, and may never refer you. Yes, that's true. Fine. But there is no lead type that says, will never work with me. Okay, we don't have that lead type as an option, will never work with me. So what you're going to do for somebody in your sphere, they can be both a buyer and a seller, potentially, meaning they could buy something maybe someday, or at least refer you. They could sell something someday or refer you, or maybe they don't own and they rent. So maybe you don't know. Maybe you don't know if they own or rent. Who cares? Okay, honestly, just get them in there. Okay, maybe they're an inspector. So like one of my inspectors that I use the most, Charlie, he could be a buyer or seller. I could have my inspector who is a vendor in here as a buyer, seller, vendor. And then I could tag him as inspector, or I could tag him as vendor too. I could tag him as somebody in my network, or maybe they're an agent. So I just helped a California agent buy a home here in Michigan. I represented her. She's an agent, but she was also a buyer. Okay. So that's, you can have multiple lead types. So in client journey, it can only be one. You can't have more than one. But you can have multiple lead types. They could be all these. Typically, someone in your sphere is going to be a buyer, seller, or a buyer renter, typically. Okay. So we talked about client journey statuses. We talked about lead types, hashtags. And now let's talk about the contact timeline, and then we'll get into profile details. All right, so in the timeline, when I'm talking about the timeline, you see these different tabs here, right? So I'm in the timeline. The timeline is everything you see right here and kind of what's going on, starting from when this lead was added to all the messaging and notes and everything that's been here, okay? To also some information about them, a summary of, how were they added? They were added manually. When were they added? They were added here. And then, has their contact been validated? Oh, it hasn't been yet. I can run the validation. What does that do? It just makes sure that kvCore can verify the information. If kvCore can't verify the information, doesn't mean it's not valid. Just sometimes it can't find the information. Sometimes all the data in the world is not updated everywhere that kvCore can access. You'll notice over here, I can, change the name. I can update the phone number, email, and the primary address by clicking over here to the left. I can say also, who is this lead owned by? Who is it assigned with? And did I share this lead with anybody? And if I wanted to share this lead with somebody, I could click share here. I could also click go to more actions and share here. So this means, like, what if this was a referral and I want to refer, this was somebody I want to refer to a different agent. And let's say I want to refer this to Doreen. And I want Doreen to be able to view and edit what's in this lead, even though it's on my system. She can still have access to view and edit, or she can just view it. I can then share it with her that way. And then over here to the right, what are some things that you want to do? Well, first of all, if you know their address or know generally where they live, you want to add a search alert. So I have deactivated the search alert, but there's two different types of search alerts you could set up. But let's turn this one back on. But if there's none there, you can add one. So what I like to do for my sphere is I live in a pretty urban area. It's not very rural. And so it's a city of Grand Rapids. And so every neighborhood is pretty well populated. And so there's a decent amount of listings. Of course, inventory is low, but I like to send them all the new listings in their zip code once a month. So that's the first thing that I like to do with somebody in my sphere database, no matter what type of database it is, if they're in my sphere database, then I like to put the zip code. Now, if it's a more rural area that you live in or you work in or that they live in, maybe it could be the city or even the county. But I like them to get it just once a month. I set it up on monthly. And then what type of listing types do you want them to get once a month? I put multifamily, meaning maybe it's a duplex or a 3 or 4 apartment building, single family home, lot, land, and condos. Now, every MLS is a little different. I could also add rentals here. I could also, some MLSs say boat slips or villas or townhomes. So whatever your MLS allows here, okay, that you want to add. I don't worry about price range or anything like that or keywords. I don't do any of that garbage. And then I just update the alert from there. And then it's going to show me about how many listings are available. So I know once a month, they're going to be getting the email. It says, here's the new listings in the zip code. Once a month. I like that. That's how, at the beginning, when I showed you the people who are looking at my website, it's because they get these emails. They don't always look at them, but sometimes they do, and it's fun. Now, besides search alerts, what else might you do? Let's say you know where they live and you know they own their house. You can set up a home valuation. Set up the home valuation and notice it says last checked 422, automatically a listing valuation / market report will be emailed automatically once a month. If you ever go in here and more than a month, 2 months or 3 months have gone by and it still doesn't show the most recent update, you could update and send it to kind of give it a push. Once in a blue moon, they usually get stuck. Okay. And then let's say you don't know where they live or they're renters. Then instead of a listing valuation, you could do a market report. Once a month that they get a market report for either their zip code, their city, or their county once a month. So that's what I like to set up from this timeline here for my sphere. Next, I like to go into the profile details. I can assign this person to my primary lender or any lender that's in the system. But right now, Julie is my primary lender in here. These other people that are listed are other lenders that either I added, because I've added a handful, but other people in my quote unquote office at eXp Realty West Michigan, kvCore office, quote unquote. Other agents who have added lenders, they're all listed here. So, but I've got my assigned lender there. I can choose to remove it. I can update, add additional phone numbers here. The phone number that's going to be connected to the account, like if I were going to call from this system, would be whatever numbers here in the cell phone. Okay, by the way, but you can add just for additional information. Now, maybe you could change the address label because you can print address labels from the CRM. And if for this one, you want this person and their cat, also mentioned in the address label, you could put an address label here to override that. So I could say Sylvia, Dana, and Diego the cat. Okay. All right. If you want to do that. All right. If you need to do that for some reason, because it's a couple or something, or, family. Primary addresses in there, you could put their homeowner status, homeowner, renter, you don't know. You could put their social media links in here if you wanted to. You will make sure that, yes, you have permission to call and text. If you closed a deal with them, you closed a transaction with them. This person, we just closed a deal in April 6th, and I'm going to do that. I can also opt them in to get an anniversary email and text. The one thing you want to know about that, though, this anniversary, it's the home anniversary, and that the way that it's built into kvCore, it's geared towards people who purchased a house and now live in a house that they purchased with you. So you have to opt them in to get it. If they're an active buyer and you want to just have notes about what they're looking for, you can add that. If you want to update whatever the valuation address is, you could do that here. Any other contact info about them, where they work, what their title is, where the company they work in. Now, this is good information to keep, on a client to help connect some of your clients to other people that you know, because you're, part of your job in real estate is to be a connector. That's going to help you get more referrals and get more business. You can also put their birthday. Let's say you don't know the year they were born. You just put last year. Now doesn't matter. Okay. So I was born, I'm a year old. Okay. I like that. Okay. I'm a baby. Okay. So, and you can opt in then to get the birthday and text message. And then you can put in this other information about the spouse. Now, this is just for information. Now, if you want the spouse to get their own birthday message and the spouse to get their own home valuation, and you want to contact the spouse separately because they're two different people with their own hopes and dreams, you'd want to actually create a second contact for the spouse as well. So now I'm just going to quick give you this plan of action, and you will get these slides. So the first plan of action you want to do is you want to schedule yourself to call people in your sphere databases. You have the number for them. That makes them a true sphere, right? Because you can get the number. You're gonna set up a time to call them 4 times a year. Okay. Remember, we're trying to get more business. I'm not trying to just help you learn how to use kvCore, helping you use kvCore to grow your business. So you might use tags when you complete the task. So for example, maybe the first quarter, like January, February, March, you call with, I have a goal script. Hey, Sally, how are you doing? I just want to wish you a happy new year. I don't want to take too much of your time. Did I catch you in the middle of anything? Okay, no. Okay, great. Hey, I'm just calling to tell you that I have a goal to sell 40 homes this year and help 40 families. Maybe they need to move. Maybe they need to buy. Who do you know who's thinking about buying or selling right now? Oh, there's somebody at work that has to. Great, Sally. Would you send a text message, a group text message to both her and I and introduce each other, and then I'll connect with her, or maybe you do it for Facebook Messenger or maybe email, whatever they'll do to see if they'll do that. Second quarter can be a value call, like, hey, Sally, happy spring. Hey, I'm going to do a coffee buyout at such and such a date at this coffee shop. I'd love to see you stop by, free coffee between these hours, something simple. Okay. Or you're having a happy hour or something. Okay. I'm just trying to, you can be fancy with events. I'm trying to give you simple ones. In the third quarter, another ask call. This is like a check-in, like, hey, remember I called you earlier this year. I told you my goal, I've helped, 18 families so far. And this is what's going on in the market. Who do you know who's thinking about buying and selling? So what is this going to do? It's going to help you keep top of mind. Okay. And then finally, another value call. Maybe it's a Thanksgiving call or a holiday call, something to thank them for being in your life, whatever it is. Okay. So how might you organize your calls? Maybe you could create a hashtag. So like right now we're in quarter 2. If you start doing that, you're going to do like a value call or any kind of call you want. I don't know. You decide how you want to do it. This is a suggestion. You might tag it something like this. So let's say I call this person, and maybe I use my kvCore mobile app to call. Maybe I just dial on the phone. Maybe I call from here. I don't know. You call them. And now you did that, and you want to just tag that you did that so that you can find all the ones you have in your sphere that you haven't done it for. Remember when we talked about reverse kind of looking for the hashtags that don't exist? Okay, so let's say, okay, I just called this person. I want to add my tag sphere call, and I'll just do like a dash Q2 2023. Did it. I did it. There it is. The tag's there. Now I can, in my CRM, I can search for that tag to know I did it. And I can also search for all the people in my sphere that don't have that tag. Now I know I need to still do that, or make sure I include them next time in the next round of calls I do. Anyway, that's an example of how you can track that you call. So now I'll be able to go to my CRM, search, how many sphere calls did I make for quarter 2 and who did I miss? Quarterly mailer. So 4 times a year, you're going to send your sphere something in the mail. So maybe you'll send them a property flyer from RPR, let's say, or if you're in Canada, Geo Warehouse. Really quick, I have lots of trainings on RPR, but I'm going to quick show you. So I'm going to go to RPR. And again, if you're in Canada, Geo Warehouse is like connected to your MLS. look into it if you don't know about it. But if you're in the United States, we have Realtor Property Resource, and it's a benefit of the National Association of Realtors. So I can search an address here. So that agent who I actually told you about, she bought this little hobby farm here, and she just called me a couple of days ago and said, hey, can you update me on the new home value of this? Because they bought this at 75 grand and it's worth 215. And so she's like, can you run something? Our lender needs it. So anyway, what you can do here is find the property, and then you can create a simple report. All types of reports you can create, but the property flyers are just one pagers. So for example, they look like something like this. And you can make sure whatever value you want to show, we always show the estimated value. We give it a headline, your home value estimate. You can write a little message in the description, for your sphere or whoever. This one just says, I do this for everybody. Home values in your neighborhood are going strong. Wanted to make sure you received an update on what your home is worth. Currently, your home's value ranges from 256 to 319. Are you thinking of selling? Let's have a quick call, blah, blah, blah. And then you print this baby out and you mail it. And you mail it in a brightly colored envelope that looks like a birthday card, and you handwrite the envelope so that they open it. Or if you really want to work too hard, you can get door hangers and hang it on people's doors. But I would not do that for your sphere because it's too much. Okay, so you're going to mail it. And then what you could do is you could tag that you completed it for that quarter for this person. So again, you might do RPR as a tag, quarter 2, 2023. I've tagged that I've completed that for this person. So now when I go search my CRM before the quarter is up, I can say, okay, who's in my sphere that doesn't have this tag yet that I still need to do this project for? Okay. So let's say you do the RPR flyer first quarter, let's pretend, and then you also do it twice a year. You also do it the third quarter. Now I can go back in my CRM and search for all the people I sent the RPR Q2 2023 and now update them. And now change this. Now I do it for the fourth quarter, then change it to RPR Q4 2023 because now I've completed it for the next time. So I don't have to keep this tag on here forever. Like if I do a sphere call in quarter 3 and I want to delete that one, now I get to say, okay, I did the sphere call quarter 3 now, 2023. So now I've updated this. Like I got rid of the old one and now I'm updating it. So you don't have to keep adding more and more hashtags. Just delete the ones that you no longer need for sorting because you brought them to the next step. The second mailing might be like a client invite or just like maybe a postcard with a recipe on it. And maybe the fourth quarter, like you want to send it, first week of December, maybe your holiday calendar for the new year or a card or postcard or something. And then you would tag them when you completed that. So for example, you can go into mine and I can say, okay, who are all the people that got my calendar that I sent in 2022, but it was for 2023. Calendar 2022. Apply filters. And I can see who did I send that to? $7.95. Okay, good amount still. So anyway, I can see that's all the people that got it last year. Now, how do I want to follow up with them, or who do I want to make sure gets it again? Whatever. And now once I send the next calendar for the next following year, I'll remove calendar 2022 and add calendar 2023. You get what I'm saying? Okay, that's how I'm going to use the hashtags to categorize these people. All right. Then third, your sphere action plan is you're going to send a monthly newsletter from kvCore. Now, if you have my setup with the Presto coaching program, you have a custom newsletter already built for you. You don't have to create a new one. If you got the Abracadabra setup and you added on the custom newsletter, you already have it built for you. But if you don't, this training not only teaches you how to build a custom newsletter, but it also teaches you how to prepare a newsletter and send it every time you want to update it. So it's going to work for all parties involved here. And so when you get these slides, you can click on it and it just takes you to this training that tells you how to do it. All right. And then There's some more resources for you here in these slides. How to bulk import contacts into kvCore. Okay. So if you open this up, there's the video lesson that you can click here, click on it, hover over it, click on it. It's going to take you to an 8-minute video where I explain how to use this template. And then there's directions. Please read all the directions in this first row. Otherwise, probably going to screw something up. Tell you what to do here in detail. Okay. So that's going to help you be able to add bulk import contacts. Now, adding a contact manually, you guys, is super easy. You just click add a contact, put the name in there. You have to have an email. So if you don't know their email, what you could do just to get the contact in there is do like Sylvia@fakeemail.com because you have to have one to import it. And then say call, text, email, yes. Any other information you have, it doesn't matter. Then click add contact. And that's real simple. Then you can go in there and fix it all up. And if you did have to put in a fake email, then just go in and delete that fake email once the contact's in there. So like, let's say if this was a fake email and I'm like, okay, no, that was just to get it in there. Okay. Ta-da, now I'm good. All right. So long story short, it's real simple. But that video is going to help, and it's in these slides. And also how to manage client care activities in kvCore with birthday and home anniversary messages. I tell you a little bit more about that stuff. Some of you might know about my kvCore strategy calendar, where I kind of teach you what to do every day, every week, and every month in kvCore. And you can get it there. And then finally, how to get recordings. Boop. So I'm just going to recap, and then I'll open it up for Q&A. So long story short, if you, today was kind of a topical introduction and to what you can do in kvCore. I want you to understand the power of it. Going forward, I'm going to be starting at the beginning of everything you have to know about kvCore, and start giving you little tips. Like somebody was asking how to prevent spam, all these kinds of things. Somebody did ask that question, so I'm just going to put in my blog post about that right now. I have that blog post, how to prevent your emails from going to spam. Okay, boom. So we'll be starting at the beginning. So again, those of you in my coaching programs in kvCore Blast Off or Presto Coaching, this will be, maybe too elementary. I don't know. You're welcome to come. Anybody in my kvCore Blast Off or Presto Coaching gets recordings automatically. And again, anybody who wants to come free can always come free. This information I've already given you. It's in the slides as well. And if you want to buy just the recordings as we go forward, I'll be doing it at least through the end of August. Or you can upgrade to the kvCore Blast Off subscription and cancel anytime, or join the coaching program and get it all. So again, that's that. Okay, assignment. To share a lead, does the other agent have access to kvCore? Yeah, they have to have access to kvCore. They have to have their own kvCore account for you to share a lead, right? Makes sense, right? So if I go to my Smart CRM here, I can go filters applied. Oh, assigned users. Okay, assigned users. Let's say I want to say, who did I share leads to? So I can say share any leads that were shared by me. I can choose, and then or I can choose a specific agent I shared with. So like, let's look at Caitlin Laurel. I know I've shared leads with her, and I can apply filters. Yes, she has her own account, and then what happens is under more actions, I can manage sharing. It says I have let the Caitlin Laurel has this, and I made her an editor. Now this is a lead I shared with her, and it was a listing, and she actually did it. He just happens to be in my sphere, so he's still in my system. And what happens when they're in your system like this and you've shared, they're still getting contacts from you, search alerts from you, maybe, if they're set up like that. And if Caitlin does something in the CRM, she can update it. She can write a note. She can have the information. But anything that automatically comes from the system actually comes from my contact information when it's shared.
Okay, I have a question.
Sure.
So I'm new. I just joined your Presto.
Oh, wonderful.
I have a Gmail account, which I opened up years ago when I was doing property management,
Mhm.
and I kind of kept it like ghost because I use it for my phone, and I have my sonic.net, which is
Okay.
my email where I get everything ever since I started in the business. So
Okay.
that one to me is very valuable. But then again, the Gmail account is also very valuable because it has a lot of information of when I was doing property management.
Okay.
Now I'm starting to see that I should probably merge kvCore with my Gmail because it works better, right?
So good question. So there's a lot of moving parts to that question, and this is going to be a better question in coaching. But long story short, decide what email you want kvCore to send from. So I'm just going to do the short version of this, and then Cha, can you put my latest video of time blocking your strategy in 2023? Finding that video and putting it in the chat. So the video she's going to find and stick in the chat is a video of how I time block, but I talk about also having a kvCore only email, and I talk about a little bit about this, so that's why I'm mentioning it. But long story short, when you go into your profile and you click on edit profile, you want to have something in the from email here that's not an email address that is an alias. So for example, at eXp Realty, when I first joined eXp in 2017, we were given G Suite accounts. But then, people weren't really using them, and it's expensive for a company to have a lot of G Suite accounts. And so, because people weren't really getting the use out of them, eXp decided not to offer them anymore. Now, anybody that wanted to keep theirs could. I chose not to because I already had a G Suite account, and with my Gmail account. And a G Suite account, you guys, is something that you can have your branded domain with. And so again, this article here and short video sort of explains it all. I'm going to stick it in what I'm about to talk to you about right now. Boop. We now have these forwarding email addresses. So if anybody actually emails sylvia.dana@exprealty.com, it doesn't go to its own inbox. It's just forwarded to my regular email, which is my own G Suite account here in my hello@sylviasystem.com email. Okay, so it's just forwarding. So you don't want to put a forwarding type alias email like that doesn't have a true inbox as the from email, because you want to prevent your email from going to spam that you send from kvCore, and that's one way to prevent. One step you can take. You also want to have a from name. Then the other option that video that Cha hopefully is finding and sticking in the chat. She did. She put it in there. Time block your kvCore strategy in 2023. She put it in there. Is how I link an email address and why, and the different things to do with it into kvCore. So long story short, that video will help answer your questions.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right.
I have so many questions. I'm new. So
I know. Well, there's, it's a never ending. I still have questions.
But I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes. Awesome. All right, cool. Who else? Did I miss any?
Sylvia, am I understanding that if we don't purchase one of the packages that we will not get the recordings of these trainings that we're doing on Saturdays?
Yes. So to get the recordings, your options are because you can come live any Saturday I'm offering. Okay. I'm here. We'll do this. I'm happy to do that. I also have a ton of stuff on my YouTube channel. I also have a ton of other free on-demand stuff. But to get the recordings of this series that I'm starting and launching today, you got to purchase. And how can you purchase? If you don't want to join kvCore Blast Off or Presto Coaching, you just purchase it. Boom. And you can purchase this at any time. And as soon as you purchase it, you'll have access to the recordings going forward. And you can buy it now, one-time price. Okay. That's option one. Option two, you can come into kvCore Blast Off where you get not only this call, because this is free to everybody, but you'll get the recordings. and you'll get kvCore Blast Off, which is a more topical call like this one was today, and with Q&A and a private Facebook group, and you get all my on-demand training access. It's $99 a month. You can cancel anytime. When you cancel, then you don't have access to anything anymore, but it's there. Okay. It's one way to do it. And then my Presto coaching program is the everything of everything. All of my calls, my masterminds, my Q&As, my tech Q&As, support for my staff, and the best setup that we have. Now, if, so that's that. Now, let's say you like, oh, I don't need the best setup and I don't need all that coaching, but I want stuff. You could go to my website, and we have 2 smaller setup packages, White Glove and Abracadabra. But again, to get the recordings of this, you have to be in kvCore Blast Off or Presto Coaching. Okay. But you can come free. Okay. Because I want everybody to have the information. But I just also, it takes a lot of work to do these. And then as far as when we're going to be meeting, how will you know? One idea is to go to calendar here on my website. And you'll see when the stuff is. So for example, today you see free class, kvCore Odyssey is there. And then so going forward after today, I'm going to get my calendar all fixed up of when I'll be doing it, because there are some days I'm going to be traveling. Like next Saturday, I am going to Fort Lauderdale for a team leader conference, and I won't be doing it. I'll be on an airplane. So you'll be able to see everything here. Now, the other thing about this calendar, you guys, is besides, kvCore Odyssey, it'll show you how to register. You guys are registered now. You're good. If you registered, then you're always going to get an email telling you what's happening and when the next thing is. Okay. So you'll get a reminder like a couple days ahead of time and right before the meeting if you're registered. Okay. So no worries there. kvCore Happy Hour coaching call, that is for my coaching members. Prospecting Power Hour, anybody can join that. Presto onboarding, obviously in my coaching program. kvCore Blast Off, you got to be in kvCore Blast Off. Magic Wand, that's my training for VAs. You got to be either have that program or be a Presto coaching member. Presto coaching call, it's a Q&A. So you can see when all the things are here. Okay, so that's one way you're going to find out. And the other way you're going to find out is with email. And then finally, if you purchase kvCore Odyssey and you don't, or you're in Presto coaching or kvCore Blast Off, you'll see that you have access to it, and I'll put notes inside of the actual course. But the email and the calendar is going to be your easiest way to make sure when we're meeting.